Howdy folks, and welcome back to another tech tip. This week we have a really cool program for you. It's coming from Google called Notebook LM. Notebook LM is a very effective way to do research. So whether you're in your master's and you have a bunch of papers you need to read and go through, whether you're trying to develop new course materials, whether you're trying to just brush up on best teaching practices, this is a very powerful tool to make it quite easy to do some really good research. So what we're gonna do, this is the landing page here. We're gonna create a new one. And this is where you start to add your sources. So you can add just one PDF document, one website, one video, or you can add multiple and it can draw upon all those sources. And then you can choose which sources you want for which parts. It's really neat. I just downloaded this paper on culturally responsive pedagogy. So I'm going to upload it. And then it starts off with a summary. So this 2011 article by Christine Slater examines the challenges of implementing culturally responsive pedagogy in the face of neoliberal education reforms. You can start typing it. So I said, give me the 5 main points of this article. I don't know if there's 5 main points. I haven't read it. And the really nice thing too is that it annotates it. So you can say like, okay, click on it and it shows you where in the document it is verbatim. So neoliberal education reforms threaten culturally responsive pedagogy. Simplistic understanding of culturally responsive pedagogies are problematic. More research is needed. So what's the most important thing I can do to become culturally responsive? So then it gives you points on how to become more culturally responsive, avoid essentializing culture, assuming a fixed homogeneous conception of a particular cultural group. And then, so say this is just one source, maybe I want to add another. So I have this website about UDL and culturally responsive pedagogy. And this one, we're just going to upload a link to a website. We're going to paste that URL in there. And then it can add this in. So you can build up your sources along the side here, and it just better informs. Now, the other really cool thing that it does is maybe you don't like reading. So they have an audio overview, a deep dive conversation. You hit generate. What it's going to do is turn it into an AI podcast based off of the source material. So it's 2 voices and they're not real people, but they sound incredibly realistic. And they're able to do it in like a natural conversation type of way where you can just sit back and listen. It does take a few minutes to do the audio kind of podcast. So while that's happening, I'll show you other examples. So I've been using them a lot to read through privacy policies, which is a nightmare to do if anyone's ever tried to read through privacy policy. But this one you can really hone in, and then you can ask it questions, it'll respond to you, and then it'll show you the exact part of the privacy policy so you can double check what it's saying. But I threw a grade 8 science curriculum in there. So you can write and save notes up here. So it gives you some questions you can try. So like to discuss the Science 8 curriculum's approach to inquiry-based learning. Integrated approach, thematic learning, healthy cells, healthy systems, climate change, and hydraulics and pneumatics. And then he's like, where is that? Oh, here it is, the themes. And then so you can talk back and forth with your curriculum documents. So that's really powerful. And as I said, you can do a podcast. And this is the grade 8 science podcast.
Welcome back to the deep dive. This time, we're taking a look at the Nova Scotia Science 8 curriculum guide you sent in.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you want to refresh your understanding of cells and get a better grip on climate change. And honestly, same.
It's really something else. It covers the building blocks of life and zooms out to our planet's systems. There's so much to uncover. Perfectly into the next section of the curriculum, which takes us from the microscopic world of cells to the global challenges of climate change.
I'm eager to see how the curriculum tackles such a complex and frankly sometimes overwhelming topic. Let's dive into that next.
Absolutely. It's titled Climate Change, a hot topic, and it dives straight into some key concepts. The curriculum tackles climate change head-on, starting with a concept called the kinetic molecular theory.
Right, I remember that from school, but how does the curriculum go beyond that basic explanation?
It connects kinetic energy to something you experience every day, temperature. Imagine you're holding a cup of hot coffee. You feel that warmth, because the molecules in the coffee are moving rapidly, colliding with each other and transferring energy.
So the faster the molecules move, the hotter the substance.
So that's pretty wild. Like, it's taking all the information from your curriculum documents and turning it into a discussion-based podcast about the grade 8 curriculum. So we're in the world of audiobooks and podcasts. Maybe, reading a bunch of heavy scientific or academic literature, you don't have time for that. So you can actually turn it into a podcast and listen to it. So let's check out this podcast. So wow, it turned into a 26-minute podcast, and you can download them as well to have.
Welcome to another deep dive. Today we're looking at culturally responsive teaching, or CRT,
CRT,
and how it connects with universal design for learning.
which everyone knows as UDL.
You bet. We've got a great article from Faculty Focus exploring this very link.
Very interesting piece.
So that's an academic paper by Christine Sleeter.
Oh yes, she really digs deep into the nuances of culturally responsive pedagogy.
Our mission, to break down CRT. Why is it important? How can it be used effectively?
Exactly.
So it even recognized both of the sources and where they came from in the podcast.
No one right way to do CRT.
Right.
It's all about being flexible and understanding the needs of your students in your classroom. But one thing Sleeter's research showed is that good CRT goes hand in hand with high academic expectations. It's not about making things easier
Yeah.
or lowering standards.
Okay, so it's about keeping those high standards, but making sure students have the support they need to reach those standards in a way that makes sense for them culturally.
Exactly. It's about
So it's a pretty wild piece of tech. I'm not gonna lie, I'm very impressed by it. So anytime you're doing a little research and you want a good research buddy, totally free, done through Google, just log in with your GNS-PES and you can have access, and then it saves all your sources. So you can see that I've had several that I've been kind of playing around with for a little while. And it's a great little research tool. So that's it for me. Thank you very much, and we'll see you in the next one.